So where my mind goes with this is a room full of them. Or a hall of mirrors, if you will. That's where I start.
Welcome back to Neurospicy Dialogues. Today's word is mirror. I'm Cara Jean
I am Kimberly.
and mirror. Yeah, my brain goes immediately to say, well, funhouse mirrors, like a room full of mirrors in a funhouse sort
Right.
of space.
Right.
Yes.
But not like the weird distorted ones.
No,
Just a
just
room
like the
where
wall.
you're not sure which is the real thing and which one is the reflection of the thing. Yeah, that's where
Yes.
I go because I think of it like in like horror movies, but I also think of it in um uh just things where it's all about not know. So like action movies like put these in all the time, and it's really um I mean it does a lot of work when you put that uh into a script, because it's saying that what you're seeing is and isn't real, and like there's so many layers to storytelling when a writer inserts that in. And so because that's where my brain is right now, is like completely immersed in my writer brain. That's like how I'm applying mirrors. But interestingly, like I don't have that. Like it's not in anything that I've written is a hall of mirrors.
Oh.
And I don't have I
Ooh.
even written, like, do I haven't I don't know that I've even, what is I is the, am I bad writer? Am I like like what is going on here? Because I'm trying to think. I don't. And one of the reasons I think is because I personally don't use mirrors very often.
Fair.
And because I don't, I tend to not make that a go-to. Like my characters aren't me. I mean, they are, but they aren't. They're pieces of me, but I don't. Wow. Okay, that was a revelation.
That's a good aha moment for you. I love that.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I know this about myself, that I don't spend any time in a mirror. Like even when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm not looking in the mirror. The only time I'm looking in the mirror is like if something's in my eye and I need to get it out. Um, or if I need to like check my hair or something because there's a thing that it needs to look. I need to know what it looks like. That's really more accurate.
Right, right. It's less that you're looking at you in the mirror and more that you're looking at a part of you as
Yes,
a reflection to see what it looks like.
exactly. Exactly. And because I don't really like wear a lot of makeup and stuff. So if I'm going to be on camera doing an audition or something, then I'm going to be looking in a mirror. But again, I'm looking at the pieces, and then I'm looking at the brand. Like, what is the story that I'm telling? Who is this? Like, if you look at this character, who is she? But I don't spend like any self reflection time
Huh.
looking at myself in the mirror. Is that normal? Is that just me?
I think it's not just, I mean, what we have learned is it's never just us, right? And
Right.
it is different than me. I spend an inordinate amount of time staring in mirrors. I learned really early on that I could disassociate into a mirror and warp reality by
Hmm.
using the mirror because mirror reflections are not accurate. It is a clear reflection of the world around it, just off, right? Like it's reversed and it's never quite right. And which I love, right? I in community. So the fun house, whoa, too many locations at one time. Come on now, slow it down. Here we go. Let me try that again. Living in community, it feels like living in a fun house mirror room, right? You're just in a hall of mirrors, and every person around you is reflecting some portion of yourself back to you, just off, right? With their own flavor to it, which possibly because I spend so much time staring in mirrors, it makes sense to me. Like it's really easy for me to live in that space and I don't know what I would say, comfortable but familiar. And part of it I think is because of how much time I spent as a kid staring in mirrors. And like if you stare at your own eyeball for a really long time, like full on dissociative, so you're not actually like blinking or anything, your eyes start to like warp what you're seeing and it shifts and things on the outside will start to blur as your eyes like, is this what I'm seeing? And your brain is like, I don't know.
I love that your brain,
That's
my
just
brain
me.
doesn't do that, but I love that yours does.
That might be why I spend more time looking in mirrors. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So it like blurs.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. So I can get uh when I stare in the mirror, I can get hyper focused on like one point. Like I can look at my nose or I can look at my eye. There's a blonde hair that comes in my eyebrow sometimes, and I'll just stare at the blonde hair. And because it's so much brighter than everything around it, it will stand out like a log all of a sudden. Like it's the hugest thing on my face. And my hairline disappears and the exterior around it disappears. And then it starts to like it's the thing that the hair that I'm looking at doesn't move, but everything around it sort of like can't hold still correctly. Is that just me? Who else in there? Who else listening does this? Is this just me?
Are you sure
Yeah.
you haven't like taken anything before this happens? Because it
Right. No, I was far too young. I didn't even know those things existed when I started doing this. But I do disassociate, right? So clinically speaking, I dissociate in both clinical forms. So this, I assume, is a part of that, and I disassociate with a lot of intentionality. I, what my therapist said is disassociation is only bad if your brain is doing it on its own without your permission. I have had lots of training and conditioning to put my brain in that position on purpose. And I think
Mhm.
that this was one of those very early adaptive stages that I went through that allowed me to fully disassociate in a safe way.
Mhm.
That's my theory, at least. I don't know that that's factual, but it feels good.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
it could be part of my just Alice-ness, right? Like my a
Mhm.
desire to just leap 2 feet straight down a rabbit hole, not caring how I'm going to get back out and like find out that you can put your face through the mirror and just be like, yes, what's on the other side? Yeah, I am, I am to date still irritated that I have yet to find a mirror I can fall through.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm. Okay.
I want that for me. I get
Nice.
that whatever is on the other side consistently in any story or narrative that has this opportunity, it's never bad, but it's also never good, right? On the other side of the mirror, I don't care. I want to go. Period. Yeah, I want that.
So you just took my brain to, is it Us? Isn't that the movie? The Monkey Paw
Yes.
production
Yeah, yeah,
movie
yeah.
Us? Yes, where it's not awesome on the other side of the mirror.
Yeah. And most stories, it's, if things are kind of bad on your side, they're really bad on it's like to give you an example of what you're not living.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I remember when I was a kid, there was a series called Lost in Space. Since then, there's
Yes.
been the movie and then there's a reboot of the series. But when I was in syndication or first run, I don't know when it was. But I remember there was an episode where one of the girls, it might have been Penny.
Okay.
I didn't like, I don't remember like all the character names and stuff. But there was a creature in the mirror that came out of the, and he was like a
Mm-hmm.
trickster kind of a character,
Mm-hmm.
not a
Be
good
true.
guy at all.
Right.
And that I think planted a seed in my mind, and that might be like why I'm anti mirror. So thank you, Lost in Space,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
for
there's a
making me not enjoy and thinking there's something sinister happening
yeah,
in that mirror.
yeah.
Because she was if I remember again, I'm really like having to dig deep into the
A
files
few
now.
decades ago, sure.
Exactly. So I think she was like she had like problems with the family, because this is the trope of it, would be like the family doesn't understand her, and so this sinister character in the mirror befriends her so that he can use her. And um because I think
Yep.
she, maybe it's like she has to say, I don't know if it's like a Beetlejuice thing, but like
Often.
she has to like free
Amen.
him from the mirror or something. And so that's where he's like manipulating her so that he can get
Right, right.
free.
I'm good. Let me ask if I can help you. It'll be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what the storyline was. um it's kind
It's
of a
a very common trope.
yeah, yeah, but I think that's what it was. But yeah, so it definitely was not cool, dude, not cool.
Yeah, yeah. In stories, whether it is theater or movies or TV shows or just around the campfire, right? For a really long time, potentially as far back as mirrors go, that sort of has been the trope, right? Is that the how it was told to me, I guess, is the way to say this. The liminal space that is a mirror. On one side is one type of reality, on the other is the other side of reality. And that liminal space is where so much of us get caught, right? And the duality of life is that space in between, which is actually a huge space, but often we think of it as smaller because our reality versus somebody else's reality. Sorry, distracting. Can you hear the chainsaw?
Yeah, I hear that there's something,
Okay.
the
It's tickling it.
this the noise canceling, I think, is doing a lot of work here, but I
Okay.
definitely saw something kind of like crickets or something strange happening.
Okay, there's a giant chainsaw. So excellent that it just sounds like crickets. Fantastic. That works for me. I apologize for the distraction. Thank you for that. So the liminal space between the mirrors and has always been used as a place to catch things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Demons get caught in mirrors and djinn get caught in mirrors and fairies struggle with mirrors. It's a gateway, it's a portal, it's a passage sort of space. So it is not at all surprising that there are deeply inserted memories into our biological brains that are like, mirrors. Oh, do you sure you trust them? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That liminal space is has been a big conversation this week in the community here, in various ways. But just that it is so easy to see the dichotomy, the duality of life, and consistently it really is just a mirror. So you see one thing and you think, well, this is right, and so the other side of the mirror must be wrong. Right and wrong are so subjective. That's not really real. It's
Mm-hmm.
how you come together in that mirror space and put that mask on and see and feel both sides of those to decide what in that middle do you want to be real, which
Mm-hmm.
is the work of my opinion is the work of community, is that communication unity that allows us to name both sides of that and decide what we want to be in the middle, give us back
Nice.
choice and agency collectively.
Mm-hmm. I'm always intrigued how mirrors are false and they create a false impression. And I've spent a lot of time like coaching actors on this, because m- many actors don't like watching themselves on camera.
Right.
And my take on it is that the reason is about them not seeing themselves the way they're used to seeing themselves, because they're used to seeing themselves in a mirror, which is the opposite of what's going to be on camera. So when I'm like coaching people, I always say, if you're ever in a Zoom with somebody who you're going to see in real life, turn off mirror, because it's going to feel more
Right.
natural to you to see yourself the way you're used to seeing yourself.
Right.
And if you want to, like, you need to fix your hair, it's on the side you're used to seeing it on.
Hmm.
So it makes that kind of stuff like easier for you, but it also creates a false you for the other person,
Right.
because it's the opposite of what you genuinely are.
Yeah.
And so for actors, you have to be very careful that you're not ever doing mirror, because you're giving an impression to a producer or director that you look a
Look
certain
different.
way when it's
Yes.
actually the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And the other reason is because the voice that we hear for ourselves is different than the voice that other people hear for us. And
That
so,
one gets me so hard.
yeah, so actors watching themselves on camera, it can really mess with your head. And that's why it can be very uncomfortable, because it doesn't look or sound like you think you look or sound like.
Yeah.
So it makes it so, regardless of what the character is doing. So you have to really
Yeah.
be able to dissociate the two, to go back to your word, or to compartmentalize, or whatever
Yeah.
it is, that you have to be able to separate and watch it as a character doing a thing, and not, oh my gosh, that's me doing the
What
thing.
demon form of me is that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's false.
Yes. The first time I heard myself on recording, I think I was young. I was under two hands. I don't know how exactly where, but I remember like because we recorded and then we pressed play and I was like, who is that? What is that? Like it wasn't even who. It was like a full on like that is not is my voice. Do I sound? Do other people? And everyone's like, yeah, that's exactly what you sound. I was like, oh my gosh, that is not how. Whoa, I have a much higher voice. I think I speak in this like sultry deep, but that's how it sounds to me. But I sound like Minnie Mouse most of the time in recording. I was like, who is? Mhm,
Yep. It can
mhm.
be very disconcerting.
I'm over it now. I've now seen myself in enough stuff and heard myself. I'm like, yeah, that's what she is. That tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. Mm, mm.
This has been like we just dove right into that
We
from
did.
a year. Yeah. And the fun. I love that we both went to the fun house and the people side of it, right? So technically we're talking about a mirror, but where we have gone is all into the experience of humanity and how
Mhm.
that is mirrored in the mirror and mirrored just off enough that it catches your eye. Whether
Mhm.
that is because it's you in performance, because it's a reflection from someone else on you in performance. Yeah.
Mhm. You just reminded me of the song Man in the Mirror.
Yes. Yes.
Great
Yeah.
song. Like the message of it, like there's so much
Yes. Yeah.
that makes that
We'll
song
start with the
art.
man in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Which ain't that the truth? Especially, ooh, I'm gonna say this because this is my regular soapbox. And I just got to jump on it anytime it's there. Especially when you are overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated, at low tolerance. Those are 1010% the times that you jack back your energy and focus on that person in the mirror. Like, really go back to that place, go look at those baseline basics and the bare minimums and see how many of those you set down that is what's generating this new overwhelm and exhaustion. And it's probably going to come in cycles because we have been groomed and conditioned to set ourselves aside so often. But if you are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, the only way to schedule that out of your life is to schedule you back in. Look in the mirror, have a deep talk, become your own bestie, figure that out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have to do it with a mirror though.
Correct. Just a person in the mirror, not a
Right.
mirror.
It doesn't have to be a literal mirror. It can be a
Correct.
figurative.
And if you need a literal mirror, please do that also.
Right.
Absolutely. But it could be a
Yes.
journal. It could be
Right.
a Word doc.
Exactly. Whatever mirrors you
Yes.
is the thing. So use the mirror as the verb, not the noun.
Yes. Yes. Ooh, mirror as a verb.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to go somewhere with that.
Oh, did you watch it land as you said it? Because I
I
felt it.
did. I did. I I love because every now and then you and I are like volleyball. We're like, I'll set something up and I'm like, is she gonna? Yeah, she spiked it. Yes, girl.
Yeah, as a verb. Oh, mirroring and the ways that that shows up. Oh, certainly in my life, living in community, I can name that just as a neurospicy human. Oh man, okay, this is where I'm going to go. It's a funny story. So this just happened this week. So we do interns here at Lost Valley, and we have three seasonal sessions, like 6 months, 6 week sessions for interns. We bring them in, we house them, we feed them, and they do garden work. We teach them about permaculture and nonviolent communication and sociocratic governance. So they're learning a whole bunch and doing a lot of labor in exchange for being able to be here and fed and housed so they can learn things. It's great. It was potentially one of our most successful offerings here at Lost Valley. Like it is, people fight for those positions. We usually have way more applicants than we're going to be able to take, and often early in the year, the entire year will fill out. So people will come in to apply for fall, and we're like, what does next year's fall look like for you? So it's great. It's wonderful. And this time for our summer cohort, we have a so I am I'm self-diagnosed ADHD. That is where I believe my spice generally fits on the spice rack spectrum. One of our interns is diagnosed ADHD, and literally in mirroring, this human walked on to the land and my nervous system relaxed. Like immediately saw her the first day. She was like within hours of her showing up, just walked past each other, stopped, and got into a conversation. And you know when spice meets spice and it just gets spicy, like we escalated. I was headed in one direction and she was, and I was like, you want to walk with me? She's like, yeah. We just kept like we escalated. By the time we got to where we were going, we were like like mind synced and jammed up. And we walked into other people and they're like, what is going on? This is great. Like this is where it's up. I was in full Muppet. I living in community, I spend so much time masked in composure, very much intentionally, very much as almost a meditative practice of existing in community because everyone is this big mirror and it can be incredibly overwhelming to my nervous system to have that kind of reflection at all times. Partly because this is the space I play as part of my general fixation. So it just feeds that same paradigm and the patterns become that much more patterny in mirroring them. You're like, oh, you too. Cool, cool, cool. Manifest completely differently for you. And yet that same pattern is crazy. It's almost like we're a mirror. Mirroring comes up a lot. But to have it mirrored to my nervous system, how immediately the masks don't need to be there when I'm around someone who I don't have to explain it to, where I don't have to worry about being understood because they also have an understanding trauma and want to be understood. So we're both over communicating and good with it. The patterning of asking a question rather than making an assumption because that is the pattern of understanding, and like watching it play out in somebody else, and then watching the narrative I'm used to living playing out in that person's experience, right? So they're asking the questions, they're using the clarification. When asked, they share. They're cautious about sharing, so they're not oversharing. Like they're doing all of their due diligence. And the other side is it's not comfortable for somebody else, and they have a patterning where we should make it more comfortable for them. And how much of a challenge that is when you are like, what do you think that I have been doing this whole time? But that and the disconnect. So watching that play out in real time and being able to lean in and hold space for the trauma that comes up from that and the drama that is instigated in it, two sides of that same mirror, right?
Mhm.
And help name it so they can decide how they want to participate in it. Name it, claim it, tame it. It is such a watching and being, I know, I think I'm so clever, being able to do that with others and have that mirrored experience where I know I have lived that and now I'm watching them live it and I can gently hold that mirror up and show both sides, right? Like kind of give them like the grace version of it. It has been so much fun. Also,
Mm.
it's part of what's got me unmasking more and more is just having this body, this other body on site that my body feels so safe with.
I love that. So many ways for you. Uh, uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
been, I didn't want them to leave. So attached. My safety human.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, they can stay in your world even if they're not in your world.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I go and collect them. I just sent a round of messages last week to some of the ones who came last year and was like, hey, just so you know, people here still thinking about you just because you left don't mean you're gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's warm.
Mhm.
That's warm.
Mirroring for such a cold device is actually a really warm experience for me. I will state
Hmm.
that it is a liminal space of discomfort that becomes so important to be able to live with. And it's never just one mirror in community, right? It would be so easy if it was just like one person hold, but it's like, here is one mirror, and here is how this mirror on each side of this is also a mirror this way because there's this happening as well as this. And then you throw in a new thing and there's a mirror going this way. So there's like these two that are happening here and these two that are happening here and this one that's over. And they all show you a different angle of the same thing, but it's the same converse. Had a big Jersey talk with one of our instructors and that came up in around community process and I was like it seems very clear to me that the reason we're struggling is because we've attached right or wrong to how somebody experienced the mirror rather than just naming the mirroring that's happening and deciding what we would like to do with that information, which we are doing just in appropriate human messy fashion. And then went into a community meeting like an hour after this conversation. And at least three times he looked over and he was like, and he came up after and he's like, it was like our conversation just played out in real time. I go, this is why I'm irritated, friend. Like, I have so much understanding. I have so much grace. The patterns are patterny and the patterns are patterny. And I am tired of looking in that mirror.
Okay, you used an expression there that I'm not familiar with, or maybe I just misheard you. You said a big Jersey talk.
Yes, that's fair. Okay. So Jersey is the smoking section of Lost Valley. So Lost Valley, you can't like smoke around the property because that's super invasive to somebody who doesn't want that, right? If somebody is trying to go for an enjoyable walk through the forest and you are going through an enjoyable walk in the forest and you light up and they're not into that, now it's ruined the forest. So we have a spot for that. It got titled Jersey because a group from New York came and our big, beautiful, luscious space went up there and it's a black top for a basketball court
Uh-huh.
that has gone seriously to the forest, right? And been half reclaimed by the wilderness. But it is just a big giant black top and a bunch of pop-up chairs and stuff in it. And they're like, this like Jersey. So it's how it got its name. And it
I'm
like,
so glad
okay.
I asked.
So this is often where we go to like circle up and have conversations outside of like the structured circles and conversations. You just sort of end up in a group in a circle, smoking circle, and you just talk about stuff that's alive.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So I had gone over there so that I could have like a little fancy moment. And I like to like pace the basketball court because it's usually right in the sun and I like sun. So I was going up to do that. But then there was someone else there and we started talking and had our little Jersey circle.
Nice. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad I didn't make an assumption on what that meant because I would have been way off.
That's legit. I bet that is absolutely language that is only makes sense in Lost Valley.
Yeah.
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 Whew, okay, so this has been quite the ride.
Yeah. Okay. We started with mirrors. We went down
Mhm.
the rabbit holes of the mirror itself, the reflection, how that impacts our internal view, how that impacts our external view, how others view that mirror, how we view ourselves and others in that mirror, how to move from each side of the mirror, and how to use it as a verb to impact yours and other people's lives. I feel like we have well covered the topic. Yeah. I feel like
Yes.
we already did some what is this just me stuff in here also. So if I were going to leave us with anything, is it just me or the patterns patterning is where I want to I think we touched on this and I'm gonna say it again. Have you noticed how once you remove right and wrong from a topic, there are a handful of patterns, not a lot of patterns, just a handful of patterns that repeat in humanity over and over, like the cycles of our psyche. And the reason they feel like there's so many patterns is because it's like a fractal pattern. It's probably four things, three to four things that repeat regularly, but they repeat this way, and then they repeat this way, and then they repeat this way, and then like a over here thing. And it is what is so hard. Is it just me, or is this what's so hard about being a meat suit full of hormone soup in a universe full of meat suits full of hormone soup that is also absolutely and without hesitation an entire universe in and of itself? And living at that baseline basic space, as well as that elevated, connected to all things space, is like living inside the mirror. You are at all times seeing both sides, which is why the patterns be patterning.
Yes.
Great. That was fantastic. Well, there we go. On that note, we will say less. This has been another wild ride with the Neurospicy dialogues. Again, I'm Cara Jean.
I am Kimberly.
We will see you again soon. Bye.